Hello, this is Bridget Rao with Divine Essentials. Okay guys, we're going to talk about the Arcturian Starseeds, the Arcturian characteristics, and the energies, the frequencies that go along with the Arcturians. So basically for me with the Arcturians, when I first woke up and found information in regards to all of this, I was immediately connecting with, the Pleiadians. That was like the first thing that I ever saw connected to Starseeds. And once I had resonated with that, I was like, well, maybe let me look at all these other ones. So in the beginning, I found, articles or videos about the Arcturians, and it always made me kind of under the assumption that the Arcturians are very soft, very loving, very compassionate. Like that's what you always find that connected with them. And I'm not saying they're not, but it kind of set me up in a way of thinking like, oh, okay, they're going to kind of feel like maybe like the Syrians or the Pleiadians. But they do not. Like, when I call in Arcturian energy, when I work with them, or when I meet an Arcturian Starseed, it's like, it's powerful. It's not like that soft little lovey-dovey flowy energy that I was expecting, okay? So try not to let that, influence you. Like if you come here and you watch my video, or if you go out and you look at articles and things like that, try not to have like a preconceived notion about what it means, because it could limit you. You may go out and meet an Arcturian Starseed, but label them something else because you are assuming that whatever somebody said in a video is how they are supposed to be. I've noticed, again, the best way to connect with these things and to find these things for yourself is to do meditation, activations, healings, and intention to connect with them. Okay, so my most powerful times and like the way that I've comprised information about the Arcturians is because of experience with them. Every time I've done a healing where they're present, it's like boom. Every time I've done a meditation or an activation night where I call on them to come through, it's powerful. And they always give me downloads beforehand. So, I would do like a DNA activation or a cellular clearing or a cellular cleansing or sound energy frequency thing. Like it's always something powerful with them. Like the Syrians will be like, let's do Syrian dolphin healing, and we're like, okay, and it's just like, ooh. But then you do the Arcturian thing and it's like, oh, you just feel it very quickly, and it's very powerful. So that's my first thing with them, is that they have a very strong presence, and so as a Arcturian Starseed, you may have a very strong presence. But what I've noticed with that is the Arcturians, they're very capable, very powerful, very advanced, okay? So are the Starseeds, but Starseeds don't always know that. They don't feel that, okay? So you may walk into a room and own it. Your very powerful energy is going to walk in there. People are like, ooh, people remember you. People talk about you. People are like, ooh, I like that person. That person's awesome. But for yourself, you might not see it and be like, I don't get it. No, that's not me. But it is. So you probably have had that happen if you are an Arcturian Starseed, where it's like people just kind of resonate with you. They like you. They feel, comfortable in your presence, or they feel like that you're a powerful presence. But you may not see that, okay? So they're very intelligent, again, very technological for me. Like they're very advanced. It's not just like that little type of stuff going on within them. Now for like their energy per se, I've always noticed that whenever they come in, there's always like this essence of blue, okay? So for the actual Arcturians, what I've seen of them, they've been blue, they've been tall, but there's also like little ones. So it's kind of like a vastness, just like here on Earth. It's not just everybody's like, oh, it's a human. Like humans come in all shapes and sizes. So basically, I've seen them be little tiny guys that are blue, and I've seen them be big tall guys that are blue, and they kind of look like the Blue Man's Group. If you've ever seen the Blue Man's Group, usually they're bald, and their head is shaped kind of like it's round up here and it goes to a point. So that's the predominant energy I've seen if they're showing up like physically, but I've also seen them show up as energy and frequency, just like a light body, and it still had that blue essence to it with them. So they do connect with the throat through the blue energy there, and they are communicators. But I've definitely seen an array of them, and again, the best way to kind of figure that out is to meditate and to connect with them. Ask them to come in and see how they show up to you. And the reason I think that's so important is because we are here in the third dimension where we're kind of like, hey, what does it look like? You know, like, let me get some like characteristics built up around it. Let me label it. Let me put all this stuff on there that, you know, our 3D minds want to have. And we all perceive things in our own way. And that's the thing too, like when you're in school and they show us like, hey, this is red, this is green, red means stop, green means go, we all learn that that's red and that's green, but you may see green completely different from me, but you were taught a label around it, so you see it however you see it. I could see it and it looks blue to me, but I've already been told that that's green, so I'm just going to call it green. That's why I think it's important for people to meditate and connect with these things on their own and kind of build their own like little thing up inside of them to connect with these things, because it comes through your filter system. So it may look a certain way to me, but it may look a little bit different to you. You may see a physical being or a light being. You may see a very tall being or a short being. And again, I feel like they come through to us in a way that we're going to be comfortable with them, and that we, you know, break it down into something for us to see and understand through our level of consciousness. And when we leave here, this third dimensional reality, everything up there is more energetic, it's more vibrational, it's frequency, so it's mutable, it's changeable. Like they aren't walking around in the energies like physical beings. It's us who wants that, so they show us that. But that's how they've shown up to me. And then with the Arcturian Starseeds, I've noticed that for whatever reason, the ones that I've met have been tall. Sometimes I'm sure there can be short ones, but I've always met tall Arcturian Starseeds. So you may be tall, like I said, it doesn't matter. The physical things don't matter. It's us in this physical world that gets all caught up in that. Try not to get caught up in that, because it doesn't matter. It's just going to limit you and make you think things that you shouldn't. They do have very striking eyes, which seems to be consistent across all Starseeds, but it's not like with the Lyrans, they have like a feline type of energy or a presence, or they could have like a bird-like type of energy with them. But with the Arcturians, there's like a depth, there's wisdom with them, and again, they're advanced. So you just feel the power that kind of emanates from them. So they're intense, and they have intense eyes, and they may not even be tall, but they could feel tall because they have that intense presence with them. So again, they connect with the throat chakra, so they're going to be, you know, able to communicate. You may choose to communicate in a different way, though. You may not just speak. It may be something else. You may really love music. You may be a writer. You may be poetry, or, you know, like you could communicate with technology. There's so many different ways that we can communicate. Try not to get stuck on, well, I'm not really like big on talking. You would be good at it if you're an Arcturian Starseed, but you don't have to do it that way in order to be communicating. They're always communicating. They're always emanating energies and frequencies. Whether we see it or not, they're always doing it. So if you're an Arcturian Starseed, you're probably always kind of rippling things out and receiving things on an advanced level. So they're very intelligent. They're very technical. You know, I know one that I feel is an Arcturian Starseed, and his job is to do like all of the like coding and things for a company within the computer. So you could have a job like that, and it was funny because I was thinking earlier before I came on here, it was like, I wonder if they like the Arcturian Starseeds would be drawn to doing something like computer coding, because they code energies, like they are DNA, they work with DNA codes, they recode cells, you know, things like that. I'm like, wonder if it's just the word code in there that they're like, I'm gonna do that. But they are very good with electronics, so it doesn't matter really what it is. You probably tend to be very good with electronical devices. You may have a job that connects with that. You could be kind of connected with math, science. Sacred geometry is a big thing, because again, there's like that intense energy within it. And I think you, as an Arcturian Starseed, would receive information, you would receive energies and activations from things like that, and you like to learn. You know, they absorb things. They are like a little sponge, and they're constantly learning, they're constantly growing. I feel like they would very much connect with the energies of sound and frequency, so you could be into sound healing, or You just may feel like your energy shift around music, like your energy rises, or you could be, you know, somebody that gets sad with different energies in music. And every music has its own frequency that impacts our cells and things differently. But with the Arcturians, I think it would do it a little bit more than it would someone else. You know, like how some people get like the goosebumps and the tears, and they like, oh, it overwhelms them. But the other person's like, I think the Arcturians are more apt to have that type of experience with sound or with light or with frequency. And then you may be very drawn to like crystals and things like that, and the frequency that's inside of crystals, it's like when you hold a crystal, you probably see things or feel things or know things. I feel like a lot of the Arcturians are more claircognizant, where that's clear knowing, and you receive a lot of information up here. But it won't stop you from feeling or from seeing and things like that. But I feel like you come in with a lot of stuff up here. I feel like they hold a lot of information inside of them. Whether they're aware of it or not, it's there. And that's why if you are an Arcturian Starseed, meditation is going to be big for you, because you're going to be able to retrieve things that you wouldn't otherwise, or that you would have never really made conscious here. So try to do that. And you don't, like, I think people with meditation, sometimes they're like, you can meditate by playing a sound bowl. You can meditate by doing yoga. You can meditate by doing the dishes. You don't have to be, like, silent to meditate. Do something that, you know, takes you out of the mundane and out of the repetition. Set the intention that you're going to connect with the Arcturians. Go out and stare at the stars for a while. That's where I get huge activations. I've actually been outside at night, and when I was looking at the stars, I feel the Arcturians were there, because all of a sudden I saw all these sacred geometric patterns connecting the stars. There was all these lines and energies and frequencies, and I was like, whoa. So they definitely come through in that way, and you may see something like that if you were to do it and receive information connected to it. Another time that was very powerful for me with the Arcturians was the person I was talking about. They came to get a healing from me at a place that I was at, and as soon as I put my hands on his head, and he is actually bald, and very tall, my vision changed completely, and it wouldn't go back to normal. Like, I'm not a seer. I'm somebody that just has clear knowing and clear feeling. I mean, I see stuff occasionally, but like, this was, my eyes took completely over. I called it Arcturian vision. The only thing I could compare it to was the movie Aliens, or like Predator, where they have that ability to see the thermal and everything looks weird. It's not like a physical world. It's like all colors and energies and frequencies like that. That's what my vision turned to, but it wasn't red. It was actually like purpley and blue, and it was like ultraviolet. And I couldn't get it to go back. Like, I was like, because my eyes were closed, and put my hands on them. And then all of a sudden I started seeing that, and I opened my eyes, and everything was that color. And I was like, oh my God. And I tried to shake it off, and it wouldn't go. But then it finally did. But I've never really had that type of, you know, thing where my actual eyes were taken over by energy. And the whole healing session was intense and crazy, like, for both of us. Afterwards, he was like, and I was just like, we were sweating, it was hot, it was like crazy, but it's very intense energy. And again, they do work with our vision, they work with light, they work with color, they work with sound, so you may be able to utilize any of those things to connect and to heal with intention. So you guys are frequency shifters, you're DNA activators, you are here to code light into things. You're very detail oriented, you're very smart. I feel like the Arcturians are very, very smart, and that's why, like, you see all the little details, you put the things together, you notice, you know, stuff like that, and you have that logical aspect about you as well, so you can take whatever it is that you know, are looking at and break it down very quickly. And it's almost like I'm seeing like the Matrix thing right now, like all those like little codings and things, like the numbers falling down. It's like if you were looking at that, it's like you guys have the capability. You may not be knowing in the moment that you're doing it, but it's like you look at something like that and you receive it all in here, and just like, you guys are basically like that screen of coding going by. And it's a powerful energy, and it's needed, you know, it's needed here to be put into stuff. So Another thing with you guys is that you're good with like counseling because you are grounded, you're logical. You're not going to be somebody that's going to like judge other people. People are going to feel safe around you, and you're going to give good sound advice because you're not going to be like, oh yeah, fuck them. You know, like you may have your times where you get influenced by things, but for the most part, if somebody's coming to you for advice or support or help, you're going to give it in a good way. You're going to be grounded with your advice. You're going to be judge-free and neutral, you know, like that's a good thing to be able to be neutral. I feel like in your own lives, if somebody pisses you off or makes you upset, you're good with things, like you're logical about it, but you may have a tendency to take it a little bit more personally than you would if you were giving the advice to someone else. So if you have that go on, like in your life where somebody upsets you or you're not feeling good about yourself, try to think in a way of like, how would I talk to someone else about this? Because I feel like that would benefit you guys, because it's like you guys are good at doing it for others, but you may not be so great at doing it for yourself. And again, you are emotional, you have deep emotions, and you're very like loving and caring and all of those things, but I feel like you guys have a tendency to kind of block it off sometimes, where you know, you'll share your stuff, like your surface level, like, oh, I care, and I'm upset or whatever, but you don't go into like all the deep, dark inner working behind it. You tend to kind of close those things off for yourself, and I feel like, you know, you might need those pep talks for you, but you are very, like wise beings. Like you'd be very good teachers, you'd be good with teaching advanced wisdom and knowledge. I feel like you guys have information that, you know, comes from the stars. It comes from the ancient times. It's just like embedded inside of you. You may not even know that it's coming out of you. You'd be good as healers. You'd be good as, you know, sound healers. You'd be good with light working, like actual physical light energies and things like that. And you guys are probably into like sustainable stuff, like actually creating the new earth more than just like the concept of people who are like, I'm meditating and focusing on bringing in new earth. You guys are actually like physically out there, like, let's change shit because this isn't working. Let's make things sustainable. Let's fix things. You'd be good with architecture, like taking over and changing how something is. You see problems and you have solutions for them, you know, and again, that's that logical, like, those little codes up inside of you. You look at it, you take it all in, and you're like, well, let's fix it. So that's something you guys can do in a lot of ways, but you are more drawn to do it for the earth, and that's probably because that's one of the main reasons the Arcturians are here, is to assist in the ascension of the earth and assisting in, like, not letting the earth kill itself. Well, the earth isn't killing itself, the people on it are. And so, again, you guys are into the electronics, you're probably connecting with the stars a lot, you probably resonate with all the other terms that go along with starseeds, like, you know, like, it may feel like you don't belong with other people, you may be kind of a loner, you may be somebody that always kind of grew up, like, why am I here? Into the spirituality things, drawn to metaphysical stuff, you know, just has that overall starseed essence about you, but you guys have strong memories, and you may have strong memories from the stars, you may have strong memories from past lives. I feel like you have the clear knowing, you know, like as your predominant thing, but I think as you guys wake up, as you guys get into this stuff, you start seeing more, you start feeling more, you start hearing more, and you are very sensitive to things. You can be very sensitive to light, very sensitive to sound, very sensitive to smell and chemicals. Cold, I feel like when it's cold for you guys, it's like impossible for you guys to deal with, so it'd be good for you to be somewhere where it's like a little bit warmer. You could be into like quantum physics. I feel like you guys have strong opinions. You may feel like you don't, but I think you do. And it's like in at your core, and you'll fight for it, but only if you really have to. Like, you're not somebody that's like looking for a fight, but like you're willing to fight for freedom, you know, wanting things to be right, but ultimately kind of are, you know, peaceful at your core. But I do think that stuff can piss you off, and when stuff pisses you off, you like want to change it. You're going to do something about it. You're not going to just sit back, especially if it's probably happening to somebody around you, that you like have a soul connection with, or somebody you care about. You're going to be empathic to others. You're going to want to help other people. I think you guys would be good with like ley lines and stuff like that. You know, again, working with the sacred geometric patterns. you probably have a lot of acquaintances, but not too many people that you are just like very, very close with. I think it takes a lot for you to really open up that heart and go into that deep, dark stuff that I was talking about. You know, not everybody, probably nobody knows all of the stuff that you feel because you keep it inside. And again, deep thinkers, very philosophical. I can't say it. You like to go deep into like philosophy, okay? You're very creative. Again, I've seen, you know, like the Arcturians be able to do like poetry and drawing and writing and just being like that with different stuff. You may not feel like you are great at it, or you may not put as much of your emotions into it as you actually have, but I think you are very good. And if you were somebody that were to kind of go deeper into it, you would find that you're very gifted there and able to express yourself in a way that others are going to resonate with. And again, you are compassionate, but I think the compassion is just almost intense with you guys. And so maybe that's why people always like harp on the fact that they're very loving, nurturing, and compassionate. But for me, it was like, boom, like you can't even acknowledge anything other than just how powerful the energy is when they show up. So I think you guys would maybe like to travel and not really limit yourselves within one place, or kind of travel around and meet other people, but not really stick into like one certain thing. And you very much empower other people. You empower other people to align with their mission and their soul, and I think that's why you guys are good with being counselors. That's why you just are good, you know, with like that logical part of you and that presence that you show up in. But you, again, may not see this stuff about yourself, but you definitely have it. And I think your ability to help other people to feel inspired and to go towards their goals and their gifts is something that's amazing about you. So that's basically what I have for the Arcturians. I feel like what I said, you guys are just very powerful, very striking energy, so you may have striking physical features, but don't get caught up with that stuff. Try not to label yourself with that. It doesn't matter if you're short or tall. It doesn't matter if you're blue. You don't have to be blue. But you will have a lot of advanced things going on around you. It's almost like I feel like I'm not smart enough to talk about them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like I feel like stupid when I try to like articulate what they are, because they're just such high frequency and advanced and logical and powerful, and I'm like, I don't know. But that's how I feel about the Arcturians. So let me know what you guys think. Are you Arcturian? Do you resonate with the Arcturian thing? Did I miss stuff? How do you feel? Like, how have you seen them? And what is like the traits that you've noticed come through with the Arcturians and working with their energies? So thank you guys very much. In Mune. Namaste.